Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It seems like the Russians are gearing up for a counteroffensive this winter, since it seems like the Ukrainians are depleted of manpower and maybe ammunition and weapons coming from their sponsors. I have here two articles, and let's read them. They are very interesting. They're going to tell us the Russians are gearing up for or getting ready to conduct some widespread attacks on Ukraine. So let's start with this article coming from the New Voice of Ukraine. It is from today, the 16th of October 2023. Russians actively preparing for large-scale battles in Kherson Oblast. We are going to look over the map as well, but let's read a little bit what these guys have to say. An Atesh agent pointed out that there have already been two instances of Russian command posts being relocated. Agents have also documented an intensification of the transfer of enemy military equipment and ammunition to the mainland of Ukraine from Crimea. So let's see where this little location is in Kherson Oblast. We got Sputnik here. This is one of the best maps you always use. It's clear and nice. We don't have to believe it, but it's still, I think, one of the clearest. It has everything you need included here. You got the other countries surrounding, or the Black Sea, Crimean Peninsula. So they're talking about this. This is Kherson Oblast right here in the south. So they're saying the Russians are bringing troops from Crimean Peninsula to mainland Ukraine, which is right here, and they are preparing for large-scale battles in Kherson Oblast. So that is in this area. So that's one. And we're probably going to go to the next one right here in Avdiivka, which the second article deals with and comes from the New Voice of Ukraine, October 13th, 2023. Russia committed 10,000 troops to assaulting Avdiivka, Ukrainian official. So in more than 3 days of ongoing heavy fighting, Russia has committed approximately 10,000 troops to assaulting Avdiivka, Donetsk Oblast. The head of Avdiivka state administration told Ukrainian TV. So according to his data, there were 13 missile strikes on the city in the last night alone. The situation is very complicated but remains under control in Avdiivka. So that is this right here. So remember, Bakhmut is right here where Artemovsk is. They call it Artem of the Russians. So Artemovsk, Avdiivka, Marinka, Vuhledar or Vuhledar. This is where at one point it was the hottest spot on this war. Here it seems like the Russians are advancing in they say Liman Perry in Kupiansk, this right here. So they see here Liman, but I also see Liman here, right here, Krasny Liman. So that's Krasny Liman, and you have Liman here. So when they say Kupiansk Liman, it could be this, or it could be the one and down south. So they're advancing here, as you can tell by this. No, it doesn't have to believe that, but I've been following this, and indeed the Russians are advancing here. Not major advancement, but anyway, there is some. So let's see what these guys are saying in this Avdiivka front. The Russians have thrown 3 brigades at Avdiivka, or approximately 10,000 people. He added that for the past few days, Russian forces have been fighting at the road leading to the city, along with shelling Avdiivka with incendiary munition. Well, you use them from the Americans, so it's all good, I guess. If the Americans use nuclear weapons, anybody else can use it, I guess. No? No. Well, anyway, so the Russians are preparing for, I think, for a counteroffensive during the winter and along the entire front. I mean, not entire, because I can take out, and let me show you, Zaporozhye, and in Zaporozhye it seems like the Russians are not doing much but defending, which is right here. This is where the Ukrainian counteroffensive is dead in the water, okay, floating downstream. So here is Zaporozhye. This is where they pushed a little bit in, the Ukrainians, but they couldn't reach what they wanted to reach. The goal was cut down here to Berdyansk and Melitopol, or Mariupol, Berdyansk, Melitopol, this area, and then cut the Russians. They thought they're gonna go and take the Russians on Kherson, and then further into Sevastopol and Crimean Peninsula, obviously, and probably destroy the Kerch Bridge, so these guys cannot supply their route. So probably cut into, attack here, destroy this bridge. Supposedly the Russians cannot destroy this one, but this one doesn't really matter, because if you cut them into here, you're gonna come from the northeast down here, and then from northwest come down here, crossing here. The Russians supposedly cannot come over here, whatever, and then they will occupy Crimea, and then they got Crimea, and let's say they got all this liberated, let's put it this way. I don't know how it could be liberated if those guys don't want to be liberated. How do you call that? Occupied? I mean, if those people didn't want to be liberated, but anyway, we liberate them. And what are they going to do after you liberate those areas? What are they going to do with people who did not want to be liberated? Are you going to exterminate them? Are you going to talk to them? Are you going to what? Displace them? Ethnically cleansed? What are you going to do? You don't tell me you're going to just incorporate them in your country with love and patience. I don't think so. You didn't do this since 2014, so I don't think this will happen. So here it is, my friends. I'm waiting for this counteroffensive, or at least major offensive, little by little. I think the Russians are not rushing in. Russians are not rushing. Russians are just advancing slowly. Well, they were obviously opposed by brave Ukrainians with Western weapons, and if the Americans are not able to supply them with weapons, then the Ukrainians are done. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.